So after some encouragement to quit and go work fast food, we decided to actually flip the script and go against the grain, adding to the WrestleChat podcast lineup here on WrestleChat TV. I'd like to welcome you to Let Me Talk to You. My name is the Ant-Man, and today we're talking Cody Rhodes. It's been quite the journey from Stardust to Superstar, and it's been well documented in Peacock's American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary. If you haven't watched that yet, put it on your list. It is absolutely great. Cody, the son of a plumber, the youngest child of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, came back to WWE at WrestleMania 38 as a surprise opponent of Seth freaking Rollins. His return started fast, only built up steam through 2022, but that journey came to a near full stop after a bench press snapped his pectoral tendon. That put Cody on the shelf for several months. I want to bring in my partner here, Michael Glavin. Welcome, my man. I know you're a huge Cody fan, as I am. What was your first thought when Cody removed his ring jacket after stepping into Hell in a Cell with Seth and we saw what happened to his chest?
Well, I mean, I think the very first thing that came to mind was holy expletive. Over the last decade or two, we've seen WWE become very focused on the health of the performers, and really moving away from the old school days where if you're hurt, you just work and that's just how it is. And so really it created this identity crisis as a fan to say, okay, obviously WWE knows he's injured. How did he get past medical?
Yeah.
How did he, and it raises all of these questions. And so here you are in this moment. We hadn't seen him, at least from what I remember, we hadn't seen anything prior to the match. And so he takes that jacket off and your hands kind of go on your head and you're like, man, what does all this mean? And obviously would go on to be an absolute banger of a match, and really kind of shredded the curtain between kayfabe and reality. After
that match, we saw Cody go away for a little bit, but Cody returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble as entrant number 30, battling in the end with the IC champ Gunther. After tossing Gunther over the top rope, it was evident that Cody was back and he was better than ever, and he would be resuming his ambition to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. But that battle against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39 saw the American Nightmare come up short in his efforts there. Michael, it's been debated just mere seconds after that loss that Cody's story was over, while others believed it was just the beginning. Immediately after that match, what camp did you find yourself in?
I would say I was definitely in camp. We're still going. The story is not over, but I think it raised a lot of questions because to WWE's credit, and this may be an unpopular opinion, we're so used to getting that WrestleMania payoff.
Yeah.
We're so used to getting that win, from the winner of the Royal Rumble. And so I think what it did is it broke the norm of what we were comfortable with. And I think as much as we had heard about it, I think that was, Paul Levesque's way of saying, no, I said long-term storytelling and I meant it. And I think that was the first inkling of that because there was just so many things that the timing needed to be right on. It wasn't time for Reigns to drop it yet. Cody had been around so briefly that we would have, eliminated so much story in between. I mean, imagine if we would have gone from the first Iron Man movie straight to Avengers Endgame. Yeah, you would enjoy it. But there's so much that you're missing out on in between that would make the story and the build-up and what we assume is an inevitable payoff much less fun and enjoyable.
Agreed. And that story did continue. Cody's most recent hurdle started on the Raw after WrestleMania when we saw the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, turn from being Cody's partner in a tag match to F5ing him right in the middle of the ring. That turn would lead to three very brutal matches for Cody. One that saw Cody got one over on Brock after Brock had Cody in a Kimura. Then the second, Cody passing out from that same arm lock in match number 2. So the story was tied up, one apiece. Then came the rubber match at this year's SummerSlam in Detroit, which you and I were at. Cody had to face his own hard times in the form of a beast and take on Brock one more time. Michael, I said to you during that show, this is very reminiscent of Brock versus Cena. I mean, Brock was clearly had the advantage over Cody in this match. The beating was brutal. What was going through your mind during that match while we were watching Cody just get completely destroyed?
Yeah, there was a couple different things going through my head. I was surprised at the booking of the match, mainly just because it was a match that didn't really make Cody look strong, but it made him look resilient.
Right.
And maybe that was the point. I expected a little more back and forth. In fact, if you go back a few episodes on the WrestleChat podcast, you'll hear me explain that I think embarrassing Brock Lesnar is to manhandle Brock Lesnar. And boy, that did not happen.
Not even a little bit. Yeah.
And not even a little bit. And so I thought the match was incredibly interesting. And where my brain is at right now is like, where is this going? Because if we know we're in this long-term storytelling phase of wrestling, we're finishing up what appears to be finishing up with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And so what does all this mean? And how does the booking now translate into what's getting ready to come? But I would say overall, my feeling was a little confused, but still in awe of two great performers.
Well, after all was said and done in Detroit, Cody landed the crossroads on Brock to bring home the victory. As exciting as that was, that really wasn't what everyone was talking about after that match, was it? It had to do with Brock and Cody's moment in the ring. Now that we're a few days removed from this quote-unquote passing of the torch, it seems even more significant than when it happened in the moment. There's never been another match where Brock has taken it upon himself to congratulate his competitor, shaking his hand and raising his arm right there in the middle of the ring. What did that mean to you when you saw it happen there in Detroit?
Well, not to sound like an echo chamber, but if you recall, I think my first response was, "Holy expletive!" And I leaned over to you and I said, "We have never seen that before, ever." Yeah. And I think you and I were both in quite shock and awe, and I do think it is a passing of the torch. Maybe not necessarily to say that Brock Lesnar is done by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it's a passing of the torch to say, I'm handing off my main event status, and I'm anointing someone to hold this spot now that I have guarded so carefully for a long time. Brock has a reputation of being a guy rough around the edges and not very sociable and this, that, or whatever. But if you hear anyone talk about him professionally, he cares about the business. He cares about making good decisions for booking. Yeah. He cares about putting on, a good performance. And I think that was a way of him saying, you went out, you did your own thing. You were super successful on the independent circuit. You started this other promotion, and now you're back and you're just killing it. And I feel comfortable handing over this slot to you because I know you will honor it and take care of it.
Yeah, nobody would ask him to do that either. That was all on Brock himself.
No,
yeah,
you probably would have been punched in the face if you had asked him to do it, but he did it on his own accord, and yeah, just a pretty magical moment.
Now the big question is, what's next for Cody? I mean, we have until April of 2024 to see Cody take on Roman Reigns again, if indeed that is the plan. That's 9 months away. There's got to be more bumps in the road for the American Nightmare. Here's some possibilities I wouldn't be mad at seeing. First is Cody versus Edge. Edge is already a Hall of Famer, and he's already publicly stated he's winding things down. Could Edge be a viable hurdle for Cody to overcome? And if so, what's the story for you with Cody versus Edge?
I think there's just some things, and I've referenced it on the show before, there's just some things that don't need the story because the people are the stories themselves. I hearken back to, I think it was WrestleMania 27, 28 maybe, with Triple H and The Undertaker. Undertaker was cutting a promo, Triple H's music hit, he comes out to the ring, no words are exchanged, they just both look into the rafters at the WrestleMania sign. And I think when you have two people at the caliber of Cody and Edge, I think it can be very similar. It's as simple as, hey, we're two of the best I'm winding down, you're winding up.
Yep.
Let's see who's still got it and who doesn't. And I think there's a very, very powerful story there to be told.
Yeah, I agree. Another one could be Cody versus Randy Orton. There's a built-in story already here with these two. All members of Legacy back in the day. I'm honestly not sure how I'd feel about the story being finished without Cody actually having to face Randy Orton. But with Randy's recovery, I'm not too certain if this could happen before next April. But how, all things considered, just they could step back into the ring together. How are you feeling about this idea?
I think that's probably my favorite up to right now. Not that I wouldn't want to see anything else. But as you pointed out, there's so much packed in there. It's kind of reminiscent of Star Wars, if you will. It's the, once I was the learner, now I have become the master, whatever that is. And I think there's story there of a mentor and a mentee going at it and seeing who comes out on top. So, I have a feeling that if we see Randy again, it'll be like he never missed a step. Yeah. And I think that could be one of the I think that could potentially be match of the year whenever that falls.
Well, those are just a couple of options that we've talked about. Michael, anyone else that you're feeling that could be a good contender for Cody before WrestleMania 40?
To be honest, I'm in such awe of Cody Rhodes right now.
Yeah.
With all the pieces coming together between the documentary, I don't know that anything is going to be bad. Obviously, the ones we've already mentioned are my favorites, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him work with someone that needs some help getting over, in the WWE. I don't want to see anybody squashed, by Cody.
Yeah.
But one person that comes to mind is Tommaso Ciampa, someone who is greatly underutilized in the WWE, who has been a force to be reckoned with everywhere else that he's been. And even knowing that Cody will probably need to go over for story purposes, there's a lot to utilize there in someone like Tommaso Ciampa. And so that would be just out of left field submission there. But
not a bad one.
Like I said, I don't think we're going to be but I don't think we're going to be disappointed in anything we get between now and when we see the WrestleMania season start to shape up.
Listen, we'd love for you to chime in with your ideas too, just like our weekend podcast. You're always invited to join the conversation, so let's chat. Drop a comment here on this episode or join our Discord. The link to that and all of our socials as well, all in the description of this episode. If you enjoyed the first episode of Let Me Talk to You, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe here on WrestleChat TV. It means a lot to us and a lot to this channel too. Michael, great talking Cody Rhodes with you here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Let Me Talk to You here on WrestleChat TV.